This video is going to be a long one, so let's take a look at the Welcome Childhood's End with Enneacraft. This is the brand new flip archetype from Phantom Revengers, and this is also going to be paired with a short as well, with top 10 cards to pick up for this archetype. And let's get into it, and we have Screaming Geometry, because that's literally what it is. No utopia can ever give satisfaction to everyone all the time. As their material conditions improve, men raise their sights and become disconnected. So let's get into it and let's talk about these. Now, I just want to warn you, we're going to be here for a while because these are all pendulum monsters. We have 8 pendulums and 2 spell cards. So let's get into it and let's talk about them. So first up, we have the Enneacraft Alpha Org I, or IA. It is a level 1 Earth Machine Pendulum Flip Effect monster with 100 attack and 1000 defense. I do want to note there are 4 level 1 Earth Machine monsters with 100 attack and 1000 defense, and 4 level 9 Light Machine monsters with 3000 attack and 2500 defense, and they are all scales of 0. So let's get into this archetype. So you can only use the second pendulum effect of this card's name once per turn. Each time a monster is flipped face up, place 1 sin question counter on this card. I think that's how they have it. You could pay 900 life points, reveal 3 Enneacraft cards from your deck. Your opponent randomly picks 1 for you to add to your hand, also shuffle the rest back into the deck. So this is kind of like a Cleafort Scout mixed with a My Friend Pearly, being pay 3, reveal 3, or pay 9, reveal 3. So it's 300 for each revealed, and your opponent picks 1 to add to your hand, which is honestly just a Reinforcements of the Army type card. The monster effect is you could reveal this card in your hand, special summon 1 machine monster from your hand in face down defense position, and you cannot special summon the turn you activate this effect except in face down defense position. So all the cards have that, where you reveal it, special summon 1 monster from your hand in face down defense position, and it locks you into only being able to summon in face down defense position. And that's the gimmick of the archetype, just being able to use these flip monsters and monsters who can activate when they're flipped face up, kind of like Fossil Dyna Pachycephalos, Guard Dog, or even Wake Cup Machi. And then when your opponent activates a monster effect in the hand, quick effect, you could change this set card to face up defense position, add 1 Enneacraft card from your deck to your hand, and if this card is flipped face up, destroy 1 monster your opponent controls. So if they activate something like a K9 Azuna in your hand and this is set, you can flip it face up, grab a search, they summon out the Azuna, chainlink 1 of your flip effect, chainlink 2 Azuna, you get to destroy the Azuna for free. So this is kind of a counter to K9 in a way, because they counteract what they have. So overall, this is going to be a very interesting card to say going into the future of the game. And then also after that, we have Enneacraft B Alonzi, or Alonzoni. I really want to think that they're backwards. The names are backwards to be AI and then the name. So that's one thing I do want to say right now. Now this one is each time a monster slips face up, so all the pendulum scales 0 or level 1s have the same effect, being place a sin question counter on a card, pay 900, reveal 3 Enneacraft cards from your deck, randomly pick 1 your opponent does to add them to your hand and shuffles the rest back into the deck. And honestly, that's fine because it's consistency added for the whole entire deck. And you have essentially 12 copies that are Reinforcements of the Army. And after that, you could reveal this card in your hand, special summon 1 monster from your hand face down in defense position. You cannot special summon the turn you activate this effect except face down defense positions. When your opponent activates a card or effect that includes adding a cards from the deck to the hand, quick effect, you could set this card to face up defense position and add 1 Enneacraft card from your deck to your hand. If this card is flipped face up, banish 1 random card from your opponent's hand face up until the end phase. So it's kind of like how Deep Sea Minstrel is, or even a pointer of the Red Lotus, where you get to banish a random card out of your opponent's hand without having knowledge, and they have to play without it for quite some for the time for the turn. And overall, beta is kind of like the weakest one in my opinion, but sometimes it is what it is. After that, we have Enneacraft F. I don't remember what F is, but it is the Trauma IA, and it is the exact same pendulum effect as the previous two. And then for the monster effect, it's the same: reveal this card in your hand, special summon a monster from your hand in face down defense position, and you cannot special summon the turn you activate this effect except face down defense positions. When your opponent activates a card or effect that includes special summoning a monster, quick effect, you could change this set card to face up defense position and add an Enneacraft card from your deck to your hand. If this card is flipped face up, negate the effect of one effect monster your opponent controls until the end of the turn. And oh, it's Ecto, or sixth for Greek. Okay, that's very interesting. So we have Ecto here, Enneacraft Ecto, or yeah, it's another card that gets to add, pay 900, reveal 3. So honestly, it's just more names, more copies to get searching. After that, let's get into this one. This is Epsilon, I think. We have the Oak Nerii, and it has the same pendulum effect as the previous 3, and the same reveal effect in the hand. So let's get into the second effect of the monster effect. When your opponent activates a card or effect in the graveyard or banishment, you can change this set card to face up defense position and add an Enneacraft card from your deck to your hand. And if this card is flipped face up, shuffle up to 3 cards from your opponent's graveyard and or banishment into the deck. Just as a Shiju's Shuffler, which is absolutely fine. Being a way to interrupt the graveyards is still really good, especially today. And honestly, this is a very cool Enneacraft monster because of that. But now let's get into the main level 9 monsters, because there's quite a lot to go over. We have Isa Beta Leon. It is like I said, these are the light machine pendulum effect monsters. Scale is 0 with 3000 attack, 2500 defense. So you can run Dragon's Mind and Dragon's Bind. So you do have options for that. And each time a monster is flipped face up, place 1 counter on this card for the pendulum effect. And then the second effect of the pendulum effect is at the end of the battle phase. If you have an Enneacraft card in your under their pendulum zone, you can target 1 monster your opponent controls with a lower attack than this card, destroy it. So it gets to recognize the attack value, which is really cool. Overall, that's a really powerful effect. And then the monster effect, you can reveal this card in your hand, just like the past 4, special summon 1 monster from your hand face down defense position, and you cannot special summon the turn you activate this effect except face down defense position monsters. When your opponent activates a card or effect in response to the activation of your card or effect, quick effect, you can change this set card to face up defense position to return up to 3 cards on the field to the hand, which is honestly really good against something like Evenly Matched. Each time a card is added to your opponent's hand by their card effect while you control this monster, flip face up, inflict 900 damage to them for each. I could already see an FTK going on here, being able just to return 3 and then just try and see how much they could burn. It's gonna be interesting. So it's good against drawing, it's good against things. Actually, no, it's good against the Molcharmies, because you could just have this flip face up and then summon as much as you can from the hand if they Perilio you, so they get burned 900 for each time that they draw. So that's really good. Let's get into the next one, being Astripixia. It is another level 9 machine, and I'm gonna just stop looking at the pendulum effects. Yeah, I'm gonna stop looking at the pendulum effect because it's the exact same effect as the previous monster. The first monster effect is the exact same: reveal to special summon from your hand a monster in face down defense position. When your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a card you control, quick effect, you can change this set card to face up defense position Negate the effect, then you can banish one random card from your opponent's hand face down. Oh, that gave me Kashtira vibes. Your opponent cannot target cards on the field or in the graveyards with card effects while you control this monster flipped face up. This is going to be a scary one to go against, but I think there's a scarier one in the future. And honestly, being able to have targeting protection is really crazy, in my opinion, especially going in the future of the game, depending on how things go. With this deck being Earth and Light, you can run Dominus Purge absolutely freely in this deck, so there's a lot of things you could utilize. And then we have the big boy. We have the Enneacraft Artorief March, or Artori Etco, or Ecto March, or Mar. It has the same effect as the previous two in the Pendulum Zone, and the same first effect for the monster effect. Now let's get into the second monster effect. When your opponent activates a card or effect on the field during your turn, quick effect, you can change this set face-up card to face-up defense position, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. If this card is flipped face-up, change all monsters your opponent controls to face-down defense position. Their battle positions cannot be changed. A Daruma Cannon on a card is crazy. Being able to lock your opponent into monsters that are face down can be brutal and can be devastating throughout their combo. I could definitely think that Yumi's going to struggle against this, and even Canine can struggle against this because once they're face down, they can't go back face up. So this is going to be a scary card, and let's get into the final one, being the Archon Tail. This is the final monster we're going to be looking at, and we're not going to bother with the pendulum effect because it's the exact same as the previous two, along with the first monster effect being the same for the whole archetype. So the second effect is when your opponent activates a card or effect that would destroy cards on the field, quick effect, you could change this set card to face up defense position. Monsters and Enneacraft spell cards you control cannot be destroyed by card effects for the rest of this turn. So the last card that we are missing is probably going to be a spell card, so that's going to be scary. And each time a monster is sent to your opponent's graveyard while you control this flip face-up monster, inflict 900 damage to them. This is the card that you want to worry about against things like Morphing Jar. There's going to be an FTK with this, because if you manage to make your opponent discard multiple cards, and they're all monsters, this is going to be catastrophic, because I think the burn damage counts per each that is sent. I'm not too sure on that. It's going to be interesting to see how that's ruled in the future, but being able to just discard random cards out of your opponent's hand just to burn 900 for each of them is really crazy. This is crazy against the Molcharmy deck for Molcharmy cards. It's also crucial against flip or decks that utilize on a specific mechanic like Fusion, Synchro, Exceed, Link. Well, not really Exceed because those stay on the field, but still. This is going to be a card that causes multiple FTKs to surface. So keep an eye out on this card. That's definitely for sure. And now let's get into the spell cards, and we're finally in a almost closing out thought. We have the Enneapolis, the Sinquisition City. That's the name, Sinquisition. This card is always treated as an Enneacraft card, and you can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. You can target any number of Enneacraft Pendulum monsters you control, return them to the hand. If an Enneacraft Pendulum monster you control is flipped face up during the main phase, you could return this card to the hand or place to your Pendulum Zone one of them. Once per turn, during the end phase, remove all Sinquestian counters from this card you control, and if you do, inflict 900 damage for each counter removed. So if it has a total of 9 counters, that is going to be an FTK. That's kind of scary to think about. And let me see one thing. Well, you control this. If this gets moved to the spell and trap card zone, does that still apply? Because if it's flip face up, that's going to be a ruling for later. That's definitely going to be interesting. And now let's get into the Enneacraft release. You can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. Place an Enneacraft Pendulum monster from your deck in your Pendulum Zone, And if this card is in your graveyard, except the turn it was set there, you can banish it, add 1 face of Enneacraft monster from your extra deck to your hand. Overall, so we also have reprints being Pot of the Forbidden. We have Spirit of the Fall Winds, Pinpoint Landing, and Destructive Daruma Arma Cannon. So what do I think of Enneacraft in a whole? This deck looks mighty fun. It's gonna be very interesting for sure, because when you look at it, it's gonna be annoying to go against because it's a flip deck that does a lot of things and a lot of burn damage. This is gonna be a deck that I definitely see it's gonna be a rogue tier strategy, unless if the last card that they're missing is gonna be so broken that it pushes it into a tier 1 strategy. But overall, I definitely think that people are going to try out Enneacraft and try out a lot of techs that are going to be coming up in the next few sets. But overall, I definitely think that Enneacraft is something not to scoff at, because normally players do that and they normally scoff at decks, and it turns out that sometimes they're going to be absolutely broken. But anyways, I have been talking for way too long. I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and I hope to see you all in the next video. Hit that like button if you're new here. If you want to see more content from me, hit that subscribe button. And if you want to help support the channel, I have a TCG player link down in the description below. I have a channel membership that you can do that's 99 cents a month. And also, just subscribing helps also on top of that. But anyways, I've been BoltSpider. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. And yeah, this is going to be very, very interesting of a deck. But anyways, goodbye.